Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Intelligent Training Holistic Health. We are your hosts, James and Francesca, and we have been away, but now we are back. Franny, talk to the people.
I don't really know why we stopped. I think we stopped because
we had a lot of work. Was getting in the way. There was a lot. We had a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
On our side, there was a bunch of new things we were doing, and things got very busy. But
this is obviously, we love doing this, and it's free, so it unfortunately has to take a backseat to other work for a while. But
now we're in a place where things are ticking over nicely,
so we can get back into.
So
this will be weekly now.
So this is going to be weekly. When are we doing it? Every Monday?
It's going to be every Monday.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. we're going to upload.
So you can listen to us on your commute to work.
Yes.
How fabulous.
And today, I think it's quite fitting, actually. I can't remember if when we stopped doing the podcast, was that before or after you did a few months social media free? I can't remember because I don't know when you did it.
I can't remember. How sad is that?
It was probably before.
It might have been before.
I don't know. Anyway, our topic of conversation is today.
Social media. Is social media ruining your gains?
Yes. So is it affecting you in the gym? Is it affecting your mental health?
Yeah.
Is it affecting your progress and your goals?
In general. So we're going to dive in. So, one of the stats I looked up is average human spends 2 hours 31 minutes a day on social media. Which is insane.
I'm not even surprised.
Which is insane.
Yeah. And this is, so we decided this was a good topic of conversation because you did a blog on it, didn't you?
Yeah.
And actually it got a lot of good response. I think people were really interested.
And I feel, a lot of people feel the same. Well, a lot of people do feel the same way. A lot of people I speak to feel the same way. A lot of people have a love-hate relationship with social media. It can everyone already knows it can take up so much of your time. You can get lost in social media holes.
Oh, awful.
It distracts you. Your attention span gets less. When you're spending time with family, your dad always pulls his phone out of his pocket.
Not mine, because mine's not on social media. But
looking at it. But it seems, everybody seems to be getting affected by it.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons that we have now started to do social media free weekends.
Yes. So we decided, the reason we wanted to talk about this topic so much is because I would say we're quite aware of how social media can affect us mentally, yet still there's so many messages coming through every day from different accounts that you see. Subconsciously you start to change your thought patterns, and you start to, possibly not everyone, but most people do have the general consensus is that you start to get a little bit negative in your thought patterns, or think that everybody else in the world has got their shit sorted out, and they are flying through life, doing everything that's amazing. They're off to Ibiza, they're over on a yacht, they're going on a private plane, they're sipping cocktails on a beach, working at the same time, and they've got the best car, the best house. They're in
amazing shape.
Incredible shape, and they're drinking champagne all the time, and they're eating the finest foods, and you can look at it and just think, oh,
my life sucks.
My life really sucks, even though it doesn't. But you think, and then you start to chase. You're like on a hamster wheel. You start to chase and think, oh, I need to be crushing work every day, and I need to be chasing money, and I need to be chasing these fancy holidays, and all these things are going to make me happy, or all these things are going to mean that I climb that social ladder, and my life's going to be better for it. And it's just not true. And then you step away from social media and you look at your immediate environment around you, and you see the 99% of us, normal people, we haven't got our shit together. We're not always in eating the best things or drinking green smoothies, and we're just trying to get through the day and tick off a never-ending list.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my post today. I was going to post today on social media. I was going to do a topless post because at the moment I am leaning up. I'm nearly 10 weeks into a fat loss phase. So I am not looking. I'm in half decent shape. So
That's good.
I'm a lot leaner than I normally would be.
Yeah.
So I was going to post today a picture of me looking lean. But then I just thought all I'm doing is just adding to the nonsense of social media, because I'm only going to take pictures of myself topless when I look good.
Although you did show your
So yeah, no, I do before. I do try and do before pictures, but it's not going to be as consistent. I'm not going to be posting the little selfie of me lean or just me when I'm fatter.
No, because
it's not as appealing. And then I was thinking to myself, this is exactly what every single person who's posting on social media is doing. They're posting the best part of themselves. They're posting them on a private jet, or they're posting them lean as hell, or they're posting the perfect meal. But nobody sees the crap that goes into day-to-day life. So I thought, oh, we're not going to post it. I will post topless pictures. So if you want to have a look, everyone. No. But so I will still do it, because it can be motivating to people, and it is good to show that I practice what I preach and I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. But for today, I just wanted to remind everyone that social media is complete nonsense. And I thought it was very fitting as we are doing this podcast today as well.
And also with social media, exactly what you just said, right? Yes, you've posted a before and after and you're showing people what you were before, but people tend to forget, one, there are about 1 million before and afters that are done on the same day on social media, within minutes of each other, with different angles. And I know there's lots of people who show that and they show how other people do it. Yeah. But it's still, isn't it really hard? If you see a before and after photo, it's great. But it's really hard to identify with actually just how hard it is to go through that before and after process. Because people see the before and they see the after and they think it's immediate results, even though it could say, this has been over however many months. People still don't compute that, and they still think, well, that's, now I'm looking at what he's like now, so why am I not like that now? It's like you have to put in the work. And and it's the same as when we post on social media. I guess we're trying to post valuable information. So we'll make posts, and maybe we'll post our lunch, or we'll post something that may be relative to the information we want to give out. But what you don't see, you might see us at the gym, again, because that's relevant to the information that we put out. But what you don't see is that currently we are sat behind a computer for extraordinary amounts of time, just grinding away little bits. And so it's not, the days aren't amazing, exciting, and we're not living in the gym, and we're not drinking our smoothies, and we're not we are just doing what everyone else does in the daily grind to push forward with our businesses, to push forward with our own knowledge that we want to further. And it's no different just because we're in fitness than somebody else doing a desk job or something. You look at social media influencers, and their job is to post content. So a lot of the day they're out doing lots of different content, whereas our job isn't to post content. We're trying to do it to create value. So the majority of our day is like 99% of everyone else's day. It's just behind a computer, and it's just, but again, everyone forgets that. So they see the social media influencers and they think, oh, why can't I be in that incredible shape? Why haven't I got the perfect gym outfit on? Why am I not prepped enough to have my smoothie straight after the gym, and this and that? And it starts to feed in negative thought patterns, like, I'm not good enough, I must be different because I can't achieve that. And you're comparing yourself to like a 1% population.
Comparison is a thief of all joy,
especially on Instagram, because you're comparing yourself to complete highlights of everybody's life, which is and especially ridiculous.
When it comes to physiques, a lot of physiques you see on social media are enhanced by drugs.
That's
true. That's one thing as well, that if you don't know much about health and fitness, then you could be aspiring to a physique that you could never attain. So that's one thing to look out for as well, is aspiring to these physiques and people will claim to be natural as well, which is terrible. But don't this is another reason, like what Franny was saying. If you're looking at people on Instagram, it is a highlight reel, but then some of these highlight reels are enhanced. And we already know it through Photoshop and all that kind of stuff as well.
Oh yeah, it's mental.
So
isn't it?
so social media is, like my post today, is completely fake.
Yeah.
A lot of it is.
But that's the thing, right? There's a lot of crap on there. There's also a lot of great information on there. And this is something that I find is even more difficult with clients, is once they have an interest in something, they show an interest in fitness, they're getting bombarded with all fitness content. Now, for them, when they're just beginning as well, and they have no knowledge really, or very little, it's then really hard to sift through what is complete crap and what is actually great information.
It's very hard.
And this is one. So
this is exactly why we do this podcast.
Exactly why we do this podcast, because we want to. Because whatever we say in our podcast, we'll back up or we'll tell you its opinion.
Yeah.
And even if it's backed up, you still have to, as a consumer, you still have to go, okay, I'll take that information, but does it fit my lifestyle? Would I do it? And if you don't, then chuck that information away and find something else. But I think people often like to put the blame on other things. So yes, you're getting bombarded with this information, but no, you don't have to take it all. No, you don't have to believe it all. And yes, you are in control of what you use and what you don't and how you go about that, which is why I don't want to be bashing social media, because it's amazing.
Oh, no, it's amazing. It's amazing. There's so much good content on there. It can be so good for so many things. It's just sometimes you have a love-hate relationship with it. Because it can suck you in, but it's your own fault you're getting sucked in.
And which is why we have decided on having social media free weekends. So if you're finding it a struggle, or you're noticing that you're starting to think a little bit more negatively, or you just feel that you're not as happy as you were, because I speak to a lot of people who say after they've gone in a rabbit hole of scrolling, you come off feeling a little bit down.
Because the reason you scroll, so they have the best scientists, they have the best people trying to keep us hooked, which obviously from a business perspective is brilliant for them. So the reason that they got the scroll so easy, you make the scroll so easy, is because you see something you don't like, and then you'll scroll, something will come up straight away, and you might start getting a little dopamine hit from it. So they're saying you keep getting the dopamine, and once you just don't want to scroll anymore, then you stop it, and then that dopamine will suppress a little bit, and then that's why you don't feel as happy. Because your dopamine has dropped from you scrolling, dopamine high, and then you stop it, and you get that little lull. So it's so they are designed to be mega addictive. Because the longer we spend on screens, the more things we can get promoted to us, the more money they can make. So that's the thing. Like that's what all the marketers say. Like now, oil used to be the big thing. Now people's attention is the big thing. So everyone's just trying to mine our attention. And our attention span is getting worse. I mean, I don't know about anyone who might be listening, but how many times have we sat down and we've watched a program, and you got that urge to pick up your phone, but you're watching a program. You're watching something. But but that before we didn't. And that's why we've recognized these things that are happening. And then we've started to put them in place. So James and I now, if we're having an evening together, actually a lot of the time we'll make sure that when we're having a bit of a longer evening together, I'll say weekends, because weekdays are quite busy, aren't they? So we kind of come in and after the gym, train, eat, and then it's not that long before bed. So we tend to use some of the weekends to take a big chunk of the evening and not have any social. Well, we don't have phones, but we also don't have TV. We don't watch TV. We actually just sit, whether it be with a glass of wine or something else, in the garden or just in the house, and we'll just chat. And that has been a game changer, because as crazy as it is, like we're taking more time to
hold our attention.
Yeah. And have real connections.
And have real connections and deeper conversations, which you don't get when your attention is half with somebody and half ready to pick up your phone.
I got friends that I'll be having a conversation with a friend in person and they'll pick their phone up and start scrolling when I'm talking to them. And I was like, what the hell?
And they'll be so unaware that they do it.
Yeah, great. It's crazy. And this is one thing when I did I did 3 months away from social media. I got rid of all the apps, had nothing on my phone. And how many times I would sit on the toilet and my thumb would just immediately go to where my apps used to be is insane.
And before that, it used to be a magazine, didn't it? Back in the day. And now it's phone.
Yeah, no, you just get stuck in there. You're like, what are you doing, my friend?
And you feel like you have to, because now I do it with friends. Sometimes we message each other back and forth on social media.
Yeah.
Which is, and I think people say that, I don't know if they say millennials do or not, but they prefer to talk and respond to people via text or via an email rather than picking up the phone anymore. Yeah, whereas we have, back in the day, it was the only way you did it.
Yeah.
Picked up the phone.
Yeah.
And it's funny how we've all just
start losing the art of conversation a little bit. I think people do.
And interaction, so like real life social interaction, we're all losing it, and we're all living through our phones.
Pick up a woman or a man now. Now it's all over internet. Now it's all over apps,
and it's swiping about 1 million people.
Nobody wants to talk to each other in person.
And you have to, and then so people base it a lot on this. Again, I'm sure social media has something to answer for giving people unrealistic views of what relationships are supposed to be like, and what people actually look like. I'm sure all of these things, especially with all the filters that people put on.
Oh my god, I've got a friend, who but he said he had been on some dating apps, not necessarily social media, and then somebody turns up and it looks completely different, so he thought he was talking to him.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's so sad. It's so sad because what's the point? Because you're going to eventually see them in person.
Yeah.
So, and I know it has a whole host of reasons. People are just really insecure, and I'm sure social media perpetuates it. But this is where we have been discussing how we need to make sure that we control social media and we don't let it control us.
Yeah.
So this is exactly why we leave our phone somewhere in the house now in the evenings. We don't have our phone on weekends for social media. Of course, we have them for calling and messaging if clients text and whatnot. That's completely different. But we don't scroll. We do not click on the app on social media on the weekends.
And that's probably to the detriment of our business, because you need a certain amount of posts to get into the algorithm, and you want to be putting out as much content as you can so you can interact with followers, etc. But we feel that if we're going to preach about this, and we feel strongly about this, then we need to act and align with what we're saying, don't we? Yeah,
exactly the way we do with other health and wellness aspects of our life.
Yeah,
we'll go, however we're training, whatever approach to health and wellness we have, food, etc. is going to be a similar approach to what we have, as in balanced. As in, we're not going to go and promote being a vegan or being on a carnivore. We're not in a camp. We approach our health and wellness in a balanced way.
Yeah, and I think being off social media is a big part of it's going to have big effects to your health, or at least I've seen my health at least. So taking the 3 months off, I felt crazy, a lot happier not being on social media, because obviously you're not comparing yourself, you're not scrolling all the time, and it's not even like I was on it very much.
No.
That's the crazy thing. I'm not even on it that much, but I could feel it had a detrimental effect on my health. So we have to put these things in place to try and mitigate any of that. And obviously we have to be on there for work, so we have to post and we have to engage, but just try not to let it drag you down or drag you into the scrolling spirals.
Yeah, and you can still love it, can't you? I really enjoy.
And now actually I do. Over the past few weeks, I've really enjoyed social media. I'm enjoying like doing my posts more. I'm enjoying interacting with people.
But because you've controlled the environment on social media, you haven't let it control you. And I think that's what, if people are finding it a struggle, or they find themselves going in a negative spiral because they're looking at all these highlight reels and thinking they should be in a certain part of their life at that age, which is what I've done before. I've looked on and you know, you look at people who are similar age and you think, oh my God, I should have achieved this, this, and this by now. And what have I done with my life? And you start to look at all the negative things going on, which is really nothing. But again, you're just on this comparison wheel, and it's so detrimental.
Alcaraz win the Wimbledon final.
Oh my God, amazing.
We both, it was so good, and we're so glad he won. But we both sat there and were like, how underaccomplished do you feel? He's 20 years old and he's just won this, and we're sat here just watching him. And that's crazy because you're so happy for him, but then that's just a comparison you're making, which is complete nonsense, because you shouldn't compare yourself to anybody apart from you yesterday.
Yeah, and he's the tiny percent.
Oh, yeah, he's the
But there's like a million Alcarazes on Instagram because you're following that percentage. You're a lot of the time you are following the best. So you think it surrounds you, don't you?
100%.
Except if social media didn't exist and you just watched Wimbledon, you'd be like, oh my God, amazing. Or feel a little underaccomplished. Maybe you might think that, but then you'd get on with your day and you'd never see again unless you follow certain tennis matches, and then you would be back in your own reality. But we just live in the reality of everybody else on social media.
And I think the weekends, what we on 1 or 2 weekends now?
3
weekends.
I think we've done 3
so we've done 3 weekends, no social media, and that has been a game changer, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. And what we've also noticed is when we go out, we like to go out for a walk, and then we go to coffee shops. And even sometimes when we've gone out for dinner together, we, again, because we discuss this all the time, and we're always discussing ways to improve our health, mental, physical, etc. And when we sit down at a cafe or in a restaurant and we look around, again, majority of people are sat at the table engaging in their phones rather than each other. So we really try and make sure that we don't use our phones for anything. Even when we're having a discussion and we go, oh, I can't remember that person's name. I can't remember. How forgetful are you now? So we've decided to try and challenge ourselves not to click on Google in order to find this person.
And what I found one the other day, didn't I?
Oh my God, it took us
a couple hours.
But
hours. And then eventually ping just came to me, and I was like, boom, there it is. But otherwise we could have just Googled it and found it straight away.
And it was
just challenge yourself to try and put your phone down a little bit. That's what at least we've been trying to do. And it has been mega helpful.
Because it's not only ruining your gains as such because of the mental aspect of it, but also how many people scroll on Instagram in the gym in between their sets?
All the time. Everybody does.
And so
you should be prepping for the next set. Sit there, compose yourself, get your breathing in order, and then go, because you want to be fully present when you're working out, because it is such a skill, and you should be you need to be bringing your heart rate down in between sets to prep yourself for the next set. You need to be doing certain things within that time. You don't want to be distracted scrolling away,
otherwise you can't progressively overload, because you can either scroll and what you think is only a minute of scrolling turns into like 10 minutes. And I've seen it so many times. There's people on a machine, and you can tell, I'm not talking about what I do is pick up my phone and go, well, this song's shit. I need to, if I'm going to do this next set, I need a good song. You can see them on social media scrolling. And they've done one set and I've finished an entire 3-4 sets on something, and they've still only done one set. Of course you're not going to get to your goals. You're not training properly.
No. So it's having it can have an effect. And another big one where it affects people is when you sleep, or when you go into sleep. Scrolling before bed, not only is like the blue lights coming in, which is very energetic, keeps you awake, suppresses melatonin, but the other one is it's very, very engaging to the brain. because there's so many different clips on social media, so it's very engaging. So that's just another thing to keep your brain going when you want to be trying to wind down. So there's so many different areas throughout the day that you want to try and get rid of it. Especially, I would say first thing in the morning. This is what I try and do. First thing in the morning, don't touch my phone for at least an hour. Try and do 2 hours.
Yeah.
So don't touch your phone. You can get back to whoever it is within past that time. But if you do go on your phone, you're more than likely going to open up social media, and it's just going to have more of a negative impact on your health. And when going to bed. So the bookends of your day, that's when I would suggest trying to cut social media or your phone at least, because obviously going to bed, that's when you want the melatonin to come in to put you to sleep. And if you're scrolling, then that's not bad.
Do you know what? How many people have you seen statuses or stories or whatever, and they've gone, ugh, it's 2 a.m. I can't sleep. I think, well, no, you fucking can't.
Yeah.
Sorry, but of course you can't, because you've probably sat there for 5 minutes and gone, oh, I can't sleep. Oh, I'll pick up my phone then.
Yeah.
And then you're scrolling through your phone and now you're fully engaged. And then you complain about being tired or insomnia and things. And I think, like, for God's sake, at some point you have to take the responsibility and realize that these little actions, I'm not saying it's not difficult, because it is, this again, it's designed to pull you in. But if you want to change, then you're going to have to do something about it. I don't know, take your phone out of the room. We were on about getting one of those alarm clocks, weren't we, to put in our room?
Yeah, you get different time in this one.
Not always.
Sometimes.
But we can.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We can coincide together.
And then we should just get phones. Yeah, I love that. Just get phones completely out of the room. My phone's on airplane mode from 6:30, 7 p.m. onwards.
Yeah, but it's just having it in there anyway. I know you don't touch it, but it's just.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even want it in there.
Yeah, it would just be nice.
It's only there because my alarm. It's my alarm. But yeah, you're right. It's the sunrise alarms.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah, because even in the morning, most of the time, if you get up a little bit before me, which you don't always, unless I've been really naughty and stayed up late, then you don't get up that much earlier than me.
No.
Then, I mean, I hear you most of the time get up, and then I just go, oh. No, as in I hear you get up, don't I? And then I go, oh, I'll lie there for another 20 minutes or something. Really, I should just get up. It's just that I always go to bed a little bit later than you, don't I?
Yeah.
Anyway, but I know it's harsh, but it's true. There's that scrolling through the evenings, scrolling between sets.
Yeah.
Again, what was the average amount of time spent on social media?
2 hours, 31 minutes.
A day.
As of 2023, yeah.
And what's the biggest restriction that we get for not achieving health and fitness goals?
All the time.
And there's 2 hours and 33 minutes a day.
1 minute study, Jim.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. I might just start doing that with new clients. Like, send me your analytics for your social media.
Yeah, because you can get a weekly report, can't you?
Yeah, be like, send me your weekly report and I'll find some time for you.
Yeah.
So if you want to sign up with me, people, I've probably scared you off. But no, yeah, it does. And yeah, we're just saying this because we found it to make such a difference. The 3 months I took off made such a difference. Now implementing certain times where we won't look at our phones, for example, mornings and evenings, made such a difference. I even have bought a lock box, these little timed, I think they're like lunchboxy kind of things, but a little timed clear box anyway. You stick anything you want to stick in there, put a timer on, and it will lock until the timer's up. So now I'll often, if I have, so I want to go down, if I'm in the basement and I'm working, I have something I really need to focus on that I cannot use my phone for, I'll stick in the lockbox, set 90 minutes, and then boom, I'll be away. And that's helped as well. Because one time, once you start getting to kind of a little bit of friction, I've found if you're learning something or you're deep in work and you start getting into a little bit of friction where you find that this is a little bit tough, this is where your brain tries to escape and get you to do something else. So this is where we're trying to distract you, be like, oh, and if your phone's there, you're automatically going to pick up your phone, and you're going to scroll something just because your brain's struggling in that little time, because it's just getting to the point where it's getting a little bit of friction, things get a little bit tough, but you need to overcome that and just push on through, because then you will figure it out. Because once you do distract yourself, it takes another 5-10 minutes to get back into that deep work.
Yeah.
So So then that has been, so for me, I found that and I was like, right, no, I don't want my phone this. So I'd flip upside down, I'd hide it under something. Things would get a little bit tough and I'd find myself picking it up and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So now it's in a lockbox and I cannot touch it. So these are, and this lockbox is like 60 something quid. These are the lengths that we go to not to pick up the phone. And we are pretty disciplined people.
Yeah.
So if you aren't that disciplined, then you're just gonna be picking the phone up. So we're fairly disciplined, and we've had to go to these lengths to stop ourselves from scrolling social media, which is insane.
Yeah.
So that's just how addictive it is, and it's designed to be addictive. But if you can try and mitigate some social media or phone time throughout the day, you will be much better off for it.
I think so, because the consensus is that most people feel down, feel inadequate, when they've had a long time scrolling on social media.
The sad thing is, we all know this, yet we still all scroll. So if you can, maybe jump on the train with us and do the social media free weekends, or try and do it in the evenings or the mornings, social media free or phone free. You honestly, I felt tons better for doing it.
Yeah.
And if we can just impart some of this onto you guys, then give it a go, because it is next level. And the research, there is a decent amount of research coming out to say that the negative impacts it is, but there's going to be more and more research coming out in the next year, in the coming years.
Yeah, just because it's not been around.
Yeah, because it hasn't been around that long. So let's just try and get ahead of the curve, and let's just start trying to cut it out.
I think definitely the bookends of the day are great, but I do think the social media free weekends, if we can start getting more people doing that, clock off on a Friday as if it's clocking off from work.
That's it. That's exactly how we see it.
Yeah, and say goodbye, and then come on Monday and have just, pat yourself on the back for having a full weekend, and use the weekend to go reach out to friends and family and whatever it is that you do. Oh, it will make such a difference if you can get your friends and family involved as well, so that when you're all gathered around, say you're having dinner or you're going out for lunch or whatever it is, how nice is it if nobody touches their phone?
It's the best. It is the best. It is the best.
Because
and you feel so much better for it.
And you do look, and
when you get back onto social media, I'm more engaged, and I'm looking forward to it a little bit more, because it's not constant.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it through the weekend. So when I do go back on Monday, I'm like, oh, I'd like to see what this person's posted, or I'll see what this person posted. And then I enjoy posting myself even more.
Yeah.
So even though it's probably a detriment to our business, so that I'll take the hit in business to
gain the health benefits. Yeah. Because mentally for us, it's been amazing, hasn't it? Because you just reconnect with each other. You realize about forming your own thoughts as well, and how much social media takes you away from what you actually think, and you realize you're parroting what other people think.
That's a big one as well.
It's huge, especially if you're following people.
Influence.
Yeah, totally. Hence why it's such a big business now. Influencers are such a big business, and I think it's amazing. I think it's so cool that, I don't know, if I went on and I've looked for gym clothes and I see people wearing them who I know go to the gym all the time, and I see what they say about them and they're in them all the time, I'm of course going to be more influenced to buying that brand than I am if I just went on their website and went, oh, shall I dive in on it? I love that about social media, because I'm seeing it on real people. I'm seeing it in real time. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. And then you can see a bunch of other people going, yeah, I loved it. It's really comfortable for this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Awesome. But it's so easily to get influenced by so many opinions and so many voices that you forget about your own voice and about what you really think, or what fits with your values of your life, and how you conduct yourself in this world. And I think
it cuts out a lot of introspection, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're constantly stimulated, you're constantly bombarded with everybody else's opinions, and then you start taking them on, and then it's harder to curate your own thoughts.
Yeah.
So that's what just having the breaks is can be so beneficial.
Yeah. So I hope it creates a movement of 24 hours social media free, or like us, 48 hours social media free.
Yeah, I think it's been a wicked thing.
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah. And hopefully, if anything else, it will just help you get a little bit more aware of how much time you might be spending on social media and maybe where you could better allocate that time.
Yeah, and that's the first thing, is just the mindfulness. Even just being mindful, even if you don't change anything, just be mindful of how much social media am I consuming, and is it affecting me mentally in a good way or in a bad way?
Yeah.
So just be mindful of it. Just take stock and just have a little think. Is it affecting you negatively? Is it affecting you positively? How much time are you spending on there? And do you want to change it?
Yeah. And is it affecting your relationships?
Yeah.
I think it's super important.
That's it. And that's a wrap.
I feel like I've done a bit of a rant today.
It's good. It's good to be back, people.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Latest.